Hi, Coach Frank here again from Anatomy CrossFit with yet another video in our squat lineup. So far we've looked at the necessary steps to performing an air squat. We've also looked at problem areas in your squats and how to fix them. Now that your squat is looking much better, we're going to give you guys our top 10 ways that we get ready when we squat. You may be asking yourself a question. Shouldn't we have shown you the warm-ups and stretches before showing you how to air squat? And the answer to that is simple. To reap the benefits from these warm-ups and stretches, you need to know the muscle groups and areas of the body that will be activated. To know that, you need to know how to squat. Besides, the best way to warm up before squatting is to squat. We've divided these into 3 parts: static stretching, dynamic stretching or activations, and warm-ups. It's important to understand one thing. That rumor seems to be true. Static stretching can decrease your power output in your exercise and lifts if held for 60 seconds or more, although combining muscle activation and dynamic stretching before going into your workout will limit this and increase your strength in the movement's range of motion. In our routines, we start with static stretching to increase our tolerance and range of motion temporarily so that we can get into the positions required. We then go on to include dynamic stretches and muscle activation exercises to strengthen our muscles in the top parts of the range of motion. We then finish off by pushing the range of motion and warming up the movement itself. So let's start with one of our favorites. This can be done at home while watching TV and using the couch as your wall. The couch stretch. Start with your right knee on the ground, up against the wall, with your shin along the wall, perpendicular to the floor. Your goal here is to have your glutes touch your heel as your thigh and torso rise to become parallel to your shin. Progress to this point by raising your left knee and putting your left foot flat on the ground, left knee above your heel. The next step is progressing by driving your hip forward and chest back until you've reached your right heel. Hold this for about 30 to 60 seconds each leg. Next in our routine is a stretch complex that combines the hip, thoracic spine, ankles, glutes, and calves. We start this one with our right knee up, right foot flat on the ground, heel under the knee. Our left foot sits back, leg straight, with our knee off the ground. For this stretch, we like to hold every position for no more than 3 to 5 seconds, especially before a workout. Push your hips down slightly and keep your chest up, neck in a neutral position. Set your hands forward slightly for another 3 to 5 seconds, then bring them back. To help open up your thoracic spine, we will twist our torso both sides, driving our arms up. This will allow us to stretch our upper backs to keep our backs straight, chests up, and shoulders back during our squats. We then finish the complex by swinging our right legs back and up while pushing our hips up. This resembles a one-legged down dog and will stretch your posterior chain, calves, and ankles. Repeat on the opposite side, 3 to 5 seconds per position. Ankles play an important part in squatting as it will allow you to get in a better, more comfortable bottom position. For this, we choose to perform a box ankle stretch. We recommend doing this barefoot if you can, to make sure you keep your foot flat on the surface and don't cheat by raising your heel. With your foot on the box, simply push your knee down, tracking your toes and not allowing your knee to cave in over your arch. You can increase the tolerance to the range of motion by adding a heavy kettlebell and moving your knee forward and out to the side. Squatting barefoot is a great way to build tolerance to the bottom position of the squat. You can really make sure you consistently connect your feet's 3 points of contact with the ground. This may prove hard for people with poor mobility as they can't use their shoes to hide or compensate for any faults. Once you can comfortably squat barefoot without surrendering your lumbar curve or dropping your shoulders, You can use your elbows to drive your knees out as you oscillate through the range of motion. Using dynamic stretching is a great way to stretch a movement through the range of motion while warming up the extremities. Leg swings are a simple yet really effective way to do this. We find that regularly performing leg swings before and after exercising decreases the chances of getting tight hamstrings, the number one reason for lower back pain. Lie flat on the ground with one knee up. Flex the opposite foot and lock out your leg. While keeping your lumbar curve active and core tight, swing your leg up until you feel resistance. Do not push the range of motion. You want to keep your hips on the ground and lower back off the ground. Simply let the swing work through the sticky spots. We recommend doing 10 to 15 swings per leg. Another posterior chain stretch is done by grabbing hold of your toes in the bottom of a squat. Activate your core while pushing your hips back and driving them up. You should feel this stretch greatly in your hamstrings and even your lower back. The posterior chain is responsible for maintaining good form throughout the squat. Proper activation of our hamstrings and glutes are key. For this, we like to use the Kang squat. This incorporates the good morning movement with the squat. It can be performed with or without load. Only add weight if your posterior chain is strong enough to support it. You'll know this by making sure your back can stay straight throughout. Slightly bend your knees and allow your hips to hinge back. Keep your back straight and allow yourself to continue down. Stop before you collapse your lumbar curve. Drive your knees forward and hips down to the bottom of a squat. Rise by pushing your knees back and hips up to return to the good morning position. Finish the movement by pushing your hips forward. This can be done for up to 10 reps, depending on load. It could also be added as an accessory tool for building posterior chain strength. Finding out which muscle groups need to be activated to properly perform your squat is very important to get better at the movement. If squatting is the best warm-up for squats, banded squats are by far the best for activation. Start with a light band around your legs, just above the knees. Resist the bands by driving your knees out and prevent them from collapsing. To activate your hamstrings and glutes, take half steps forward while remaining in a quarter squat. Start with the right foot and align the left foot by taking another half step forward. Continue by doing 5 per side, followed by 5 per side going backwards. You can finish off the banded activation by doing side steps while ensuring to keep your knees pushed out. Perform 5 steps to one side, followed by the other. Finally, we like to finish our warm-up by adding some more movement to the range of motion. We start here with wall squats. We like to do these with our palms flat on the wall, above our heads, arms locked out, our thumbs hooked together. This gives us the best thoracic and shoulder stretch, especially in the bottom of the squat. Make sure that your heels remain on the ground at all times. You can start with your feet a little further from the wall, and as time goes and the movement gets easier, inch your way closer. Before going into our workouts or lifting sets, we usually cap off our routine with a flow of air squats, duck walks, and frog jumps. This is the icing on the cake. The duck walks and frog jumps, if done properly, feet flat, heels on the ground, and lumbar curve intact, can really warm up the end ranges of your squat to get you ready, as they demand you keep some tension through the muscle groups to perform them properly. So there you have it, our top 10 ways to get ready for squats. Obviously, there are a lot more different ways, and everyone's got to find out what works best for them. So why don't you comment down below what works best for you, and we'll see if we can feature it in a future video. Now stay tuned next time when we go even deeper into squats and we talk about tools to help you mobilize better. If you like this video, make sure to give us a thumbs up and share.
이 영상이 마음에 드셨으면 좋아요와 공유하기를 눌러주세요.
And don't forget to subscribe.
구독하기도 잊지 마시고요.